Alright, in this video we're going to look at the gold section of your rainbow review. So let's start with number 1. It says find a positive angle less than 360 degrees and a negative angle greater than negative 360 degrees that are coterminal with a 675 degree angle. So let's just draw a diagram here to help give us a visual of what's happening. So when they say that it's coterminal with a 675 degree angle, that means it's going to be at the same value. It's going to be at the same location. And so the first thing I need to do is figure out, well, if we're going to go around, obviously 675 degrees is more than one time around the circle. I need to figure out, after one turn around the circle, where is it going to end off at? So to figure that out, I'm going to take 675 degrees and subtract from that one full rotation, which is 360 degrees. Because I know two full rotations would be 720, so I know it's not more than two rotations, it's more than one rotation. And so when you do that, you get 315 degrees. So 670 degrees is the same, or 75 degrees is the same as one time around, plus another 315 degrees, which would be, we'll just say right around here. Okay, so now my goal is to figure out, well, actually we just found the first one, so it says find an angle less than 360 degrees. So that's one of the solutions, is 315. Okay, so this represents 315 degrees. And now it says find a positive, so it says find a negative angle measurement greater than negative 360. So remember, negative would be going this direction. Now I know that if it's 315 degrees clockwise, or counterclockwise, clockwise this would be the same as negative 45 degrees. Well, that's not more than 360. So that means we want to go around a complete time plus another 45 degrees. So if I take negative 360 degrees plus another negative 45 degrees, that's going to give us the same location, which ends up being negative 405 degrees. So that would be your angle measurement greater than negative 360. Alright, so it says in number 2 here, it says in which quadrant would an angle of 29 pi over 12 have its terminal side? Name the angle between 0 and 2 pi that is coterminal with this angle. Alright. So there's a couple ways we can think of this. Now first off, 29 pi over 12. Maybe one way to think of this would be to say, well, 12 goes into 29 two times with the remainder of 5. So this would be the same as 2 and 5/12 pi. So that means 2 times around plus another 5/12 pi. And if you take pi, so if pi is half a circle, and if you take and break that up into 12 sections, well, 6 sections would be half the circle, and then we'd have another 6 sections. I don't know if that's 6, here's 6. And so where would that first 5 sections end up being? Well, the first 5 sections would end up being in the first quadrant. Because again, if we ignore this 2, because again, that 2 represents the fact that it would be 2 pi plus another 5/12. So that 2 pi brings us back to the beginning. So the 5/12, well, 6/12 would be halfway, so 5/12 would be maybe about there. So that's going to leave us in quadrant 1. And then it says name the angle between 0 and 2 pi that is coterminal with that angle. That would be the 5 pi over 12. All right, let's look at the next one. Number 3, we have to convert 165 degrees to radians. Anytime we want to convert from degrees to radians, we just multiply by pi over 180 and then reduce it. So I just like to write it as one giant fraction. And maybe you recognize that 5 would go into both of these. Well, 5 goes into 165 33 times, so it would be 33 pi. 5 goes into 180 36 times. Now, just because 5 worked doesn't mean we're done. We want to reduce this completely. So I see that 3 goes into those, so this reduces to 11 pi over 12. That can't be reduced any further, so that would be the same as 175 degrees, but in radians. Now for the number 4, the last one here, I guess not the last one, we have one more. But for number 4, we need to convert pi over 8 radians to degrees. Now remember, pi radians is the same as 180 degrees. So I just like to look at it this way and say, well, pi is the same as 180. 180 divided by 8, well, that doesn't work out evenly. It's going to be a decimal. So we'll just, when we're dealing with degrees, it's okay to use decimals. We'll say 22.5 degrees is what that would be equivalent to. All right, now lastly, number 5. It says draw the angle negative pi over 6 in standard position. So let's get a XY axis here. So negative pi over 6 in standard position would be right about there. That would be negative pi over 6. Name a positive angle greater than 2 pi that is coterminal with this angle. Okay, so that means if we're going to go this direction, so that would be 2 pi plus another one of those. So we got to figure out, well, how far around the unit circle is that? Well, just this piece would be 11 pi over 6. Okay, because 12 pi over 6 will bring us back to the beginning, because 12 pi divided by 6 is 2 pi, and this is a pi over 6 less than that, so that would be 11 pi over 6. So now we want to figure out if we were to go all the way around plus another 11 pi over 6, what would that be? So basically we're going to take 2 pi plus 11 pi over 6. I can't draw. Well, 2 pi is the same as, we want to have a common denominator, so that's the same as 12 pi over 6 plus 11 pi over 6 gives you 23 pi over 6 would be your answer. All right, so that is the gold section of your rainbow review. So hopefully that answers any questions you had from that section.